Double D, what's going on? Daddy Dutch is in the house. Hey, Rick, what's happening, baby? Buzz, you still there? Great to see you guys this early evening. Here comes the judge, Judge Webb. What's happening, baby? How are you, man? Hope everybody's having a great week. It is Thursday. One more day. One more day. Hey, Troy, welcome to another sit down, man. Appreciate you stopping in. Of course, we've got to give the peanut gallery the obligatory 3 or so minutes, man, to get settled in. I think they're still in line getting that popcorn and that soda before they grab their seats. Mama Joe's in the house out of Hamilton, Ohio. Quint, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you this evening. Panchuco, welcome aboard for another sit down, man. Great having you. Great having you. My brother Carlos, what's happening, baby? How are you doing this evening? Michael Walker, Fire Walker. Great seeing all you guys today, man. Thanks for stopping in. Another minute or so. Another minute or so. It's been a great week, man. Gotten some good stuff done. Couple awesome videos. We've got another one dropping tomorrow that I am very happy with. So it's been a very successful week. We've got a couple of trips coming up, Mom and I. I got to get a couple of videos under our belts queued up for that period while we're gone. So I've got another busy week coming up. Anybody that's new to the channel, anybody that's new to the chat, man, let us know where you are from. Welcome. We always look forward to having new faces, new names in this chat. We are an awesome community, lots of awesome folks, lots of intensive knowledge as we come to the barbecue world. Wow, my man Burnt Ends. It's been a little bit, brother. Great to see you back, man. Great to see you back. Oh, I know Burnt Ends. I can't remember. I think you were in Arizona. I know it's hot. Was it Arizona or was it Las Vegas, Nevada? Either way, it is hot. JC, my man TPC, welcome aboard. Good seeing you this evening. All right, folks, we've got another great show, man. I want to thank you guys once again for stopping in and hanging out with Mom and Papa Joe right here in Converse, Texas. Just like everybody else, we're good and hot. It's that time of the year where those of us who do a little vending, a little catering, really get into the height of that season. If you're interested, if you're thinking about it, if something that you've always dreamed of doing, we're going to try to get you the necessary information. That way you're able to get that underway. It can be very profitable, and it doesn't require a whole lot of overhead in terms of equipment. All it requires is the knowledge, some know-how, and some good food. Without further ado, I want to introduce, I want to bring my two guests in and have them introduce themselves. One of these gentlemen you've seen on the show in the past. The second gentleman is brand new, man, but he's a hard charger. He is a go-getter, and he's always on his grind. Right off the bat, I've got Reuben BigRome Gallegos Jr. and my man Ernest Spradling. You've seen Ernest before. Let's start with an introduction. Let the folks know who you are, Big Rome.
Hey, what's going on, y'all, man? This is Big Rome from Big Rome's Barbecue from up in North Texas, Rowlett, Texas. What's it called? I love to barbecue. Barbecue's my passion. I'm passionate in what I do every day, and I just can't wait to get things started to talk about exactly what we do and why we do it, and the hard work it takes to make it happen. So that's pretty much it.
My man, appreciate you stopping in, Reuben. Ernest?
Yeah, I want to say, well, can I change my name to like Big Earn or something? Can I do like Big
All right,
Earn?
big Ernest Sprad. There you go.
Big Earn. Big Earn came in.
What's up, Big Earn?
Now I'm here out of San Antonio, Texas, Hook, Line, and Barbecue. I mean, I was on the barbecue circuit for a while until CJ kicked me off.
Oh, here we go.
But I'm just kidding now. But and I got into the catering world and it's been huge for several years. And then of course COVID hit us all. Didn't get to do a whole bunch, but it's starting to come back around. So I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gentlemen, once again, man, thank you so much for stopping in. And we're going to get right into this thing. We know good barbecue isn't cheap, and cheap barbecue isn't good. That is something I like to pass on to every single person I talk to. Anybody that's talking about vending or buying barbecue, you're going to get what you pay for. Right now, gentlemen, we all know that the cost of everything is high. Before we get into some of the nuts and bolts, of what you guys do, how are you managing with the kind of overhead we're currently seeing?
You want to start, or I can start?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Pretty much what I'm doing is, on my side is I'm buying in bulk. If there's a sale, right now we have a lot of shortages going on when it comes to materials. So if I see it available, even though it's not on sale either, I grab them. Tin foils, napkins, the spoons, right? The sporks, pretty much everything that you need in order for you to run your business. I'm just grabbing it as I go, because by the time I go back to get some more, they're out. There's a shortage again. So I think the biggest thing right now and what we're doing is we have to buy in bulk. If I don't do that, then I get stuck where I'm unable to service our clients that come in and give us a call and say, hey, can you do this for us? Because then I have to charge a higher price to whatever I'm doing for that client. And sometimes the client may not like it. Sometimes they may like it. So, I mean, obviously we'll get more into that, but I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm doing is I'm buying in bulk. I'm managing as much as I can in my expenses too, because also I don't want to take a loss either. So I'm buying things that I know are going to last long, that are going to be useful in my future catering events or any pop-ups that I'm out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's kind of, you're in North Texas. I mean, here, actually lately, and then CJ can probably attest to it, I'm not seeing, other than plates, that kind of thing, I haven't really seen much of a shortage when it comes to some of the meat that I buy, the sausage I use, or whatever. I don't see as much of it here, but like they said, everybody everywhere is a little bit different where they're at. I mean, when you can find it, yeah, we buy it. I mean, we get it. And my biggest deal, as crazy as it sounds, is plates. The plates is like, and I don't normally use a bunch of styrofoam plates. I go with more. I'm having to order online and, stuff like that and find them on sale. But I'm having trouble with Restaurant Depot, Sam's, Costco, all of it, just not finding the plates.
Right.
So it sounds like this is all about buying as you see it, as opposed to buying when you need it.
We used to be able to buy it when we needed it.
Yeah,
that's how it was. Back a couple years ago, you could buy it when you needed it.
I always sort of relate that to the competition world, where my advice to cooks, competition cooks, is don't shop for meat the week of a competition. because then you're going to have to settle. Then you're going to have to pay that price. Shop when you don't have comps. Shop every single chance you get, and buy it when you find the quality, and set it aside until you need it. And it sounds like that's the same thing in the catering / vending world. Now, let's go right to the beginning now. Based on where you live, based on that local community, it may require you some sort of licenses if you want to consider yourself an official catering establishment. Have either of you gentlemen had to go through anything of the sort?
I
Yes.
had. It's just like anything. A lot of the venues now, after COVID, they want you to have your insurance. You've got to be licensed as far as, having all your food handlers, and you got to have all that. And then, some of them even require that you're an established business. So like me, I didn't go with the LLC. I just went with the sole proprietor. But I'm licensed through the state. So that kind of helped me actually during COVID because I was established.
Yeah.
So food was a necessity. Yeah. So I was able to do it. And when several weren't, just because they didn't have everything they needed. So
yeah. So pretty much piggyback what you're saying. It's the licensing, the insurance piece. I think that's a huge part. I know that if you have private venues, things like that, there's not necessarily you're needing that specifically. But if you're in a city, city limit and all that, you're going to need specific licensing when it comes to that. Fortunately, I had, I did an LLC. I wanted to separate my personal to my business. With doing that, it allowed me to help me with, taxes. It breaks it down. It just, when you do your individual taxes, you ain't getting much back anymore. So it is what it is. Now as a business, your losses, the things you take, the things you buy, your gas, your toll tags, man, you name it, I can put it on my business because that's what I use for my business. So that's a big tax advantage. Guys, if y'all looking to, do this type of thing, I suggest get a business established and use that for your taxes because that definitely does help small businesses like ours.
I can definitely relate to that because that's probably the main reason we created Mom and Papa Joe LLC for tax purposes. Even our competitions, we're able to charge a lot of that to our business account. And man, does it help when it comes tax time? Absolutely. It absolutely makes a difference when it comes to tax time. Now, for somebody looking to get started, what are some of the basic necessities? Does either of you have a hard spot, a brick and mortar? And I'm guessing the answer is no.
No.
So again, that is not necessary. Reuben, tell us, what is your setup like?
So my setup is what's it called? I actually partner. I have a good partnership with one of my good buddies. His name is Ross Schmitty from Twisted Throttle Barbecue. I'm representing today because without him, I can't do what I do. I can't do it by myself. There's a big team of mine that's involved, from sponsors to myself to my daughters, that help me to get this done. So the setup is pretty much we set up 2 to 3 canopies. Right now with the hot summer times, we're trying to get like a seating area for the clients to sit down. We'll throw a fan there for them to cool down. Then obviously the setup itself, you're talking about from, the flat griddle to get the bread cooked and get the brisket warmed up real hot, ready to go, to your cashier area, to your condiments area, obviously, and then obviously all the drinks and things that you need. And then obviously we got Schmitty's Pit in the back, which is a 250-gallon smoker that we have there to keep the food warm at all times. So, that's kind of pretty much the setup that we have. And obviously banners to get people in.
Yeah.
Barbecue banners, you definitely want to have those in the front of you. You want to have the pit so they can see the pit and say, hey, what are y'all smoking?
And you need that, and you
Oh,
need
no.
that, and you need that onion on those
Oh, yeah.
coals to
Oh,
get
you
that
got you.
smoke out there,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they will follow. Yeah,
You
and they
already know,
will follow.
Clarence.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's
Ernest,
kind of
what's
what the
your
setup is.
Yeah. All right. Sweet.
And I'm kind of in a different, like, I don't do the, like when you say brick and mortar, I mean, I haven't done that. Mine's more of straight catering.
Catering.
So
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of times I'm not there, or I'm not setting up like you're saying, Reuben, with the tents and doing all that. I mean, very rare. I mean, the only time we've done the tents and all that is when we're doing the fundraisers and those kind of things. But the rest of it, I mean, like for me, I've got it, but the same thing, like you said, the deal is people getting started. We've always said it. Like a lot of people say, I barbecue. My barbecue is the greatest. Everybody loves my barbecue, which is great. I mean, everybody loves something different. But
Yeah.
as I tell them, when we get into the catering side, it's just like the competition. I'll tell you right now, like CJ, your competition brisket, that's not what you serve at catered.
Oh,
I
it
mean, it's a
absolutely isn't. Yeah.
total different ball
Yeah.
game. And some have like, oh, I've been killing it in the barbecue world. Great. That's not what you're serving. I mean, if you do, I mean, your profit level is going to be
Yeah.
about zero after the
Yeah.
fuel prices now. But
Yeah. You can't cook competition barbecue in quantity.
no,
Yeah. Yeah. You
and
cannot cook.
everybody
Yeah.
says that,
Yeah.
that's what I, when we looked at it, when I switched from the competition to the catering, it was just a happen chance. I got lucky because someone approached us and asked us to help with a fundraiser type thing, and we did it. And then next thing I know, people were, give me your business card, do this, do that, and then it just started building. But like I said, I mean, my partner, for the longest time, and what we were doing, Tito, I mean, him and
Yeah.
I started the whole competition deal, and then our lives, everything happens. And, I continued on the catering, and, and I brought other people in, but I'm like, Reuben, I mean, my kids help out, my wife helps out, and I find people. And that's the deal when you look at profit levels and going through it, is some are like, oh, well, I just got a quote for $12 a plate, let's just say. And I was 16. And I'm like, yeah, but are they serving? Are they bringing you the drinks? Or, because servers cost money
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that. So, I mean, there's a bunch to it, but.
So
Yeah.
go ahead, Reuben.
No, I mean, just piggyback on what he's saying is that, you just can't eat competition barbecue. You're going to spend more, and you're going to, your salt levels are going to go up, and you know what I mean? You don't want none of that. You don't want none of that. You want some good
Reuben,
backyard barbecue.
You've been to CJ's class.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man. I mean, we got to enjoy, to me, it's what I cook for my family is what I cook for my clients.
Absolutely.
It's my kids approve, man. My kids approve it.
Yeah.
My family approves it. It's going to be good for everybody else. I promise
Yeah.
you. But, like I said, man, I mean, to each their own, but man, you can't beat backyard barbecue, I'm just saying.
Well, that's why when you go into competition, those are the ones, and CJ will attest, those backyard cooks scare the hell out of us when they show up. We're like, who are you? Like, where'd you come from? They bring in one Weber and a little pit on the ground. We don't even know what they are, but.
So next thing I want to talk about is do you guys, Reuben, do you cater as well as vend?
Yes.
I like to keep the two separate. I've watched of course I haven't watched or seen any of your catering activity, but I've watched your vending videos on your little short videos on social media. And man, I mean, you're on that grind. You're making it happen, and that is what made me want to reach out to you. Now, when you're vending, how important is it to have help? I mean, there's so much going on. it's next to impossible to be a one-man show trying to vend. You know, you can't be. You're doing some cooking on site.
That's correct.
You can't be cooking, finishing that plate, collecting the money. What kind of help do you have?
Yeah, so kind of like what I mentioned, I'm the guy that does the cooking, and then from there, I've been having my youngest daughter, Jasmine. Man, I love her to death. Man, she's great in math, so I've taught her how to use a square and take cash and all that. So she knows what to ask for and all that. Once she gets the money from there, then I have a third person actually putting all the condiments together, whatever is needed. So it's probably about a 3 to 4 person, depending on how big the event is. At one time I had a bigger event earlier this year, and I needed about 6. It's
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're talking about 400 people at one time trying to get barbecue from you. So it was like a grind. I had to do the meat prep sandwich, and then someone got someone to charge the client, then someone got the condiments to put together, then someone got the sides to put on
yeah,
the
yeah,
actual foam. So it went through a lot. And then plus, I had Schmitty, my brother, in the back trying to warm up everything from the brisket and all that stuff. So you need a big team to make that happen. So, I can't do it without them. My success is not me by myself. It's
yeah,
my team
yeah.
that I have behind me. And I appreciate everything they do. And believe me, we help each other out in many ways. And they definitely appreciate it, especially my little daughter. She keeps all the tips. So just think about
Man, hey, Reuben, I'm gonna come up there and work for you.
She be getting good.
Come on,
Hey,
man.
she be getting some good tips, man. I'm telling you. She walks away, and then when they say, "Oh, you can keep the change," she writes it down. She writes it down. And the end of the day, I come home. Hey, don't forget my $100. I'm like, what? Excuse me?
Yeah, yeah. Gotta love it.
Oh yeah.
Ernest, what are you a full caterer? I mean, can you provide anything that a client might ask for, or do you keep your menu fairly short?
I mean, I have what I tell the clients all the time, just like with anybody, is if they call me and ask for something, and my biggest joke is like, you asked for cordon bleu and this. Well, I mean, I'm gonna go to Costco and buy it frozen. I'm gonna put it in the
Yeah,
oven. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
don't I
yeah,
don't make cordon bleu, so I
yeah,
tell people. I mean, at the end of the day, I want it. I want you to come to me for what I do.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, we've gone outside the barbecue world. We've done lasagna. We've done some other stuff. But I always tell them if I'm not comfortable, I'm going to tell them that. I will try
Yeah.
to find someone. And Reuben knows, like in the catering world now, all these people that try to go off on their own and they don't ask for help, they don't deal with other people, all that. They're like, oh, I'm going to take all the business. Man, it's like I said, I'm probably touching 2% of what's in San Antonio, if that. I mean, there's
Right.
no way I could do all 100%. So I always tell people I'm only going to do what I'm comfortable with now. And I have the backing of other caterers that I can call in, that, hey, now I got to do one for 700 people. Well, I've got the guys with the Southern Prides. I've got, I bring them all in and I take care of them. And it's not just because I booked it. Okay, I booked it. I'm going to pay you $10 an hour to help me. No, they're bringing in a $30,000 Southern Pride. You're going to split the profit with me.
yeah, yeah,
It's about keeping that, just like in the barbecue world, we keep our camaraderie. Everybody helps everybody. If I can help you, I mean, we've got like a funeral we got to cook for on Monday. I mean, all the guys that we know, everybody's coming together. And
yeah,
it's not a profit deal, obviously, on that, but it's the people. I don't know if it's the same where you're at, Reuben, but we there's so many of us around here that cater that there's no way. I mean, with Carlo, I mean, he does his, and he does a bunch, but he'll call. I mean, reaches out when he needs it.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. You got to have a team of caterers that are out there that you're confident that their barbecue is going to be what the client is expecting. So I definitely have people that I do talk to. If it's something that I know I can't do, like Schmitty Twisted Throttle Barbecue, he does catering, right? I had one there that, I couldn't do. I was going out of town. I just could not do it. But I was confident enough saying, hey, I got this client here. He's looking at doing this. Go ahead and take care of it. And he took care of it. So you definitely want to have a team of caterers and guys that
and
are
I have
willing
guys
to
that I'll
help out,
call.
right?
They know my recipes. I tell
Right,
them
right,
my recipes. I don't
right,
care at that point because they know exactly, like CG, Jaime and Tito and all of. I mean, they all do their own different thing. But if it's what I call my event, so to speak, we have people that they know. They know how I'm doing my green beans. They know how I'm seasoning my
right,
brisket. They know what sausage I buy. May not be
right,
theirs that they always get, but the clients called me back. This is what they want.
right.
But
And the
that's
thing,
where I say, and some
yeah.
are like, oh, I'm not giving my recipes. I'm not doing that. I'm so like, okay.
Yeah. It's like whatever, man. It's up to the pit master in the end to make it right, right? So,
Right.
but either way, man, I mean, the way I look at it is there's plenty of meat on the bone to do what we do, and it's a passion, man. You got to have
Yeah.
this passion to
Yeah.
do it. This ain't no, hey, this is an easy job. I'm just gonna show up and sell barbecue. There's a lot of steps behind, and I don't skip one. I don't skip no steps when I come to doing this barbecue, and you see it, Clarence. CJ. I mean, you see it all the way. I make videos. I cook. I feed my family. You name it. I have a passion for it. Now, if you don't have a passion for barbecue, stop right there.
Yeah. It's
And
not going to work.
what
It's
is
not
that,
going to work.
CJ, that burn ends as caterers? Do you do barbecue classes?
Burnt Ends asked if as caterers, are you giving barbecue classes? And I would think as a caterer, can you sit a group of people down and explain the catering business? A lot of
So,
the information we're going over tonight. Are you able to
yeah.
put that in some format for an
And I
aspiring
would think
caterer?
it would be different. I mean, other than like the barbecue classes you've given.
Right.
That's like I say, as a total. I mean, more of it to me would be, giving the information. I mean, I guess you could put something together. I've never, as myself, I've never done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't done a class or nothing like that, but the one thing I have done is share my knowledge
Mm.
to other caterers.
That's a class.
Okay,
That is a
yeah. So
class. As you
Yeah.
yeah,
sit
so
down,
and that's usually on the spot,
yeah.
like I'm, so
If you were to sit down, Rome, and just jot down from A to Z what you do for a catering job, and in bullet formats, you could then sit down and give a class hitting on each bullet.
Mhm.
you got something.
Yeah, that knowledge is the basis for a class. So that is something that could easily be done.
Looks like, right,
Mom and I,
Rome. It looks like we got a manager now. It looks like we got a manager putting us into
I
classes
know,
now.
right?
I'm just kidding.
Is it gonna be you,
Yeah.
CJ, or Mama?
Yeah. Mom and I don't cater very often by choice. We get frequently asked, and we find that catering is just a lot of work for us. It's just the two of us. When we were doing it, we had maxed out at 100 guests. And today, if we were to do it for somebody special, we want to be in that 60 guest area. We did a drop off last weekend. And before I go any further, what is the toughest meat? Now, Rome, will you go on site and cook?
Yes.
Will you go to cater?
Yeah.
Will you
I
cater
can do
on
on site
site?
and serve.
Okay. Ernest, you?
I used to a bunch, but now with the pit maker, the vault and stuff that I have, it's not on the trailer. But I mean, again, going back to what we said about having the community with you. I mean, there's plenty of pits that I can go grab if I had to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of my catering, I would say 99.9% of them, I don't cater on site.
Yeah.
I show up, and that's where all the warming boxes and the equipment and things you need come into play, because I mean, we've driven to Houston, Dallas, delivered with warming boxes, and it stayed hot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't normally go on site. I mean, it's unless like, with Andre and we've done the little, but that's not even catering really. It was more vending on that side when we're at like Explore USA or some of those when we were doing shrimp tacos, and, we're bringing out the Blackstone. So we're cooking on site, which a lot of people do like to see that, like Reuben was saying,
oh man,
having the pit, seeing the smoke, when we're cooking there. Yeah, you got your gloves on, and
it's a draw at a catering event, to have that pit there. A lot
it is, but like a lot of the weddings and stuff, they don't care if you cook on site. They don't care.
Now, cooking on site just comes with a host of other issues. It requires a lot more equipment that you're going to be holding, cold stuff, hot stuff. And we're not set up for that, so we will not do it. We've done one event where we cooked a few pieces of meat. They wanted something special that I could have brought. That I brought a Weber and just finished that. I think they wanted like chicken breasts. Meanwhile, we had cooked a ton of quarters at home, had them in the warming boxes, and we finished. We cooked the chicken breasts on site at the Weber for like 6 people. 6 out of people didn't want dark meat. They wanted 6 out of 60 people didn't want dark meat. They wanted breast, and we cooked the breast right there on a Weber and got that out of the way. So on site does come with a host of other issues. It absolutely does. Now,
and that's hard to me when you're doing. And I tell a lot of people when I'm catering, because I always, you'll get a bride or a groom or who's ever calling you is telling us, well, I have 3 people that are diabetic. I have 4 people that are vegetarians, and they start going into it. Well, I'm cooking for 200 and you have 4 people. And I'm not going to say I won't do it, but that's going to be a different charge. It's just like you were saying with the chicken. I've gone in and some are like, well, they don't want brisket. They don't want sausage, cooked chicken. Well, I guarantee you, as soon as you put that chicken on the line, because there's only 6 people that want it, people start asking, I want the chicken. Why can't I have the chicken? And then it's just a whole slew of issues that I've run into in catering when it comes to that. So I always tell the brides and grooms, I mean, if you're diabetic, you're diabetic. If you're a vegetarian, you're a vegetarian. Every wedding I've ever done, there was a vegetarian. They ate before they got there because they don't know what's in your green beans. They don't know what's in your potato salad. Do you have eggs? Is there milk product? And I'm not slamming on those people. That's their choice. But you're going to worry about, I hate to say it, 5 people out of 200 coming to your wedding. And I always tell the bride, groom, all those people, hey, what do you want? I always ask, what do you want? And then it's a joke, but I always like, who's paying for it? And they're like, oh, mama's paying for it. Okay. So mama, you and the groom need to tell me what you want.
Yeah. Well, our catering last week, the guest of honor was the individual with the special needs.
Okay. So, well, then that's a whole different ballgame.
We couldn't blow that one off. We had to.
Nope. And I've done it for a bride. The bride didn't eat nothing. I've done a special. Oh yeah. Like it was crazy. I did a steak for a bride. One steak. Everybody else had brisket. All that. We did one steak because that's what the bride wanted.
Yeah.
I mean,
we had a special pan of baked beans, a special pan of potato salad because they couldn't have eggs. They didn't want to have sausage in the bean. I mean, you've got to give the paying customer what they want.
Yes.
It might take us a little bit extra labor to get it done, but ultimately it makes us it serves us well. It makes us look good. Now, as caterers, as vendors, let's from a catering aspect, what is the toughest meat to prepare ahead and still, when it's served, still be as close to fresh as possible. Toughest meat to get done, keeping it fresh.
That's easy for me, but
I've got
that
mine too.
ribs.
Yeah.
Ribs to me is the hardest.
Man,
I'm just
why?
saying, for me though,
All right.
is like some of the chicken. Well, and I'll even do like chicken breast. You just said you did on site. We've developed some ways and learned some ways to get chicken thighs, all because we do a lot of bacon wrapped chicken thighs. Man, those will stay for forever. But I maybe it's something I need to take a class too. But the ribs, when people want them,
Yeah.
I gotta.
Now, see, the thing with ribs for me, I will not slice them until I get on site.
There it is. I was about to say
I will
that
not slice
because
them
they
until
stay
I get on
hot.
site. Yeah, exactly. Because the
Yep.
minute we slice something, it starts to
Yeah.
deteriorate. It starts to oxidize. So I will not
Right.
slice ribs until I get on site. So for
Yeah.
me,
So
the toughest
yeah.
meat. Go ahead, Reuben.
Oh no, I didn't want to interrupt. I
No.
just try to keep it as the highest temperature that I can on them
Yeah.
ribs.
Oh,
So then
absolutely.
having them together, and then I put them all together like a
Yep.
stack.
Yeah.
And then wrap.
They'll stay warm forever. Yeah.
They'll stay warm forever.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Well,
good
see,
thing
stacking them like so look. I need to learn that.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah.
a lot of people, I don't get that many people asking for catering with ribs
Oh yeah.
because, I mean, we all know the price
Yeah.
of it. I mean, when
Oh,
there's
yeah.
150 people, it's like, okay, do you want 3 apiece? Do you want
Yeah.
2 apiece? And then we start talking into that, and then they start realizing the pricing and it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back to something else. But
So for me, it is chicken.
chicken.
Chicken. I pull that chicken off of the grill, man. It's hot. That skin is, it's got those crispy charred edges. I mean, it is perfect for immediate eating. But then we talk about putting it in a pan and then putting it in a hot box, and then traveling maybe, let's say it's half an hour, and then it takes that event another hour or so to get going. Meanwhile, that chicken is in that pan, in that hot box, steaming. All those crispy edges are now softening, and we know it's not going to be that same chicken that came off the grill. So
Right.
I always struggle trying to get the best chicken I can. If I'm able to talk a host, a client out of chicken, I definitely will.
Right.
And another thing I have a problem with chicken is, a lot of people don't understand that when you put that chicken on that grill, on that smoker, you get that little pink ring.
Yeah.
Immediately, man, a lot of people without basic barbecue knowledge immediately start thinking what?
It's not cooked.
Yeah, it's not cooked.
Yeah.
It's not cooked. And
Yep.
and I'm like, oh my goodness. I am a stickler, man. If I'm cooking chicken for myself, for my family at home, I'm pulling my birds, man, at 163, 164, because I know I'm gonna have that carryover to 167. And I want that optimum texture, that optimum moisture content. You're cooking chicken for the masses, man. You're gonna have to take that chicken to probably 167 or so to make sure that it's thoroughly cooked, which is a little bit past, but you'd rather be a little bit past, man, than to have 6, 7, 8, 10 people complain, oh, my chicken was pink, my chicken was a little raw.
See, and I still pull mine, like even the bacon wrapped chicken thighs, I pull them at 165. But I have numerous probes, but I go in the largest one. You know how it is. I mean, I go in, I know this one, if that one's 165, the one next to it's probably going to be 167. So I'm with you. We're because you're right, getting there, but I also know I've got that 30 minutes. I've got that hour. Because and with chicken, now that you bring it up, I mean, with a lot of the catering, because I'm finishing up, and I got to go to this wedding, and they probably don't want to smell me at that point because I've been all day, you know, all morning, whatever. So I'm putting it in warming boxes, taking a shower, getting dressed, and we're, you know, so
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
at the 165, I know when I get there with them all in the same box, it's going to be optimum temperature.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, man, this is coming from a backyard griller like myself that love to cook on. So I've done chicken leg quarters, and it took me 20, 30 minutes to get where I need to go. Man, chicken leg quarters to me, if you ever want to get into that, I'm always about putting it over that 165, 170. I've done up to 180.
Yeah. Oh
okay?
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll get that. I'll get that probe and I'll hit that bone because that bone is your thermometer.
Yeah.
Boop, right between the leg and the thigh. That hits 170, 180. Man, I'm saying by the time I get there, it's already hot. I'm gonna put it in saran wrap. Saran wrap actually helps the skin to kind of keep it form as much as it can. And then I've covered it in foil. That really does help. And keeping that temp at that high temp, by the time you take it over there, man, they're like, it breaks off. They're like, oh my God, look at this. And they start eating it right. I mean, you want to enjoy it, right? So there's nothing wrong with the temps that you guys mentioned. That's exactly what you want, right? When you're eating it. And it's the, you know, obviously a safety piece of it. But man, if you're doing chicken leg quarters and that high temp, you ain't got to worry about it being over, that it's going to dry up on you. Things like that. Obviously, dark meat is the best.
Yeah.
Right. Chicken breast.
Tell you, I got away from. I got away from all the chicken. You know what? Drives me, and so the people that cater and do it. Thing that drives me nuts about leg quarters and all that, the cleanup of your pit afterwards.
Oh my goodness!
That to me is the worst.
I know.
And I'm like, and a lot of people are like, give me leg quarters because it's cheaper. And we all know. I mean, I can go to the local supply house down here. I can get leg quarters for nothing.
Yeah.
Even now.
You know,
but you're right.
Your grease bucket's like this high.
You know, I'm always thinking ahead, cleanup. And I know people, the average person may want barbecue sauce. They want barbecue sauce. So I asked, and I was hoping they said, no sauce on the chicken. And man, they said sauce on the chicken. I had about 70 quarters, and I had to sauce them. I had to sauce them all, and I ran them one batch on 2 pits. So you can imagine what those 2 pits look like after saucing both sides.
Well, I already know how you clean up, CJ. We've seen your clean up.
Yeah.
So that's what people. When we're charging and going into that, when we're charging a little more premium nowadays and your prices are going up, like I used to be the guy that I know, I called everyone. What do you charge for a brisket sausage plate? What do you charge for this? And I'm getting all their prices. Well, I'm like, I'm going to be $1 cheaper than everyone. I'm going to be $1.50 cheaper than everyone. You know, I was trying to, keep up with the Joneses, but then it doesn't matter. It didn't matter at that point because they wanted what I had and they would have paid what I offered.
Yeah. I don't ever say it, but, I always keep in mind, you called me. I didn't go knocking on your door.
Exactly.
And apparently you called me because you heard about me from somebody. Maybe you got a taste of what I had someplace, but you came to me. I am not... There's so much labor, time, and effort that goes into doing what we do when we do it that you cannot afford to shortchange yourself. Things are too expensive today for you to shortchange yourself.
And that's one thing I would say for everybody that wants to start, catering or doing pop-ups, man. Sell what you're worth, man.
Yeah.
If you sell yourself lower than what your quality of what you do, then it's not worth it, man. You're not making any money out of it, and you know what you're worth. Don't settle for less, man. Don't settle for less. They called you for a reason, like you said, CJ. They got recommended. Hey, this guy could get you, and then you can say, hey, look, this spot sells it this much. Look, you can give them a comparison.
Yeah.
And in the end, give me a call when you're ready, and
Yeah.
I'm good to go. So
And
Well, and I started
you are
looking
so
at, I
true.
got to drive, depending on the catering. I mean, I got a diesel truck, so I ain't got to tell y'all things that the diesel's so high. But I mean, sometimes I got to go to Restaurant Depot, Sam's, Costco, HEB. You know, you got to go, I mean, to the meat plant, whatever. And I used to not think about that much. And then I became the numbers guy. So I paid attention. I mean, and I know you got to drive, but you're looking at it, it may have cost me $60, $70 in diesel to go get everything. And I ain't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
started yet,
yeah.
yep,
you know?
exactly.
Now, as we start looking at your bottom line, how do you guys go about figuring what your price is going to be? Do you already have it listed? A two mate, a two plate, a two plate meat is
What?
XYZ.
CJ, what are you
Uh, a,
drinking?
yeah, a three meat plate is XYZ. How do you guys go about it? About figuring what your bottom line is going to be.
Yeah, so I mean, I got a standard amount. I mean, like last year, I'll give you a good example. Last year, we were doing brisket sandwiches, chips and a drink. It was like $14, right? That's kind of the simple amount that it was last year. Now, since things gone up, there's not many sales out there like it used to be. Then we had to make some adjustments. And the thing is that all the buddies that you're talking about, the caterers and the pop-up guys, we talk amongst each other and say, hey, how much are you going to be selling this? How much is the price range on there? Because there's more expertise out there that they've done it longer than
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
There's JT Smoke Shack here in North Dallas. I love the guy. He taught me all the ins and outs about the catering and how to do the pop-ups. And he would tell me, he'd be straight up with me like, hey, that's too much, or that's too little, man. Don't little yourself. You got to be right here. So I try to level myself right there with them, just because, hey, man, at the same time there is a competition, right? They're gonna either call him or they're gonna call me. If he's $2 less than me, then they're gonna go with him, right? And I know the quality of me. He's gonna do great, right? So to me, it depends on how the market is right now. As you know, the market is right up there. I'm trying to adjust. I'll do some special ones where if I do a pop-up and it's the first time I'm doing it. I did some last week. I did some pork ribs. It was a whole pork rib, man, and I was doing 2 for $5. I mean, that's dirt cheap. I mean, dirt cheap.
I need to
And
go. Hey, CJ, you want to go next week with me to North Dallas?
I know, right? But it was a presentation. It was a
$14 for a brisket sandwich, chips, and a drink. I was like, man,
yeah.
they would.
So
I think they'd pull a gun on me here in San Antonio.
right.
In the past, a lot of caterers were sticking to that 3 times cost. That 3 times cost. And I figured out 3 times cost, and the profit margin was not satisfactory.
Right.
So I'm here to tell you 4 times cost works out a little better, and I think it really emphasizes the quality of the product that you're going to be receiving. You and your guests are going to be receiving.
Right.
I will tell anybody that calls me, I say, hey, we're not going to be the cheapest by any means, but I guarantee you we're going to be one of the best, or I will refund your deposit. We're going to be one of the very best, or I will refund your deposit. I have got that kind of confidence in what we do. And again, I'm one of those, I am not going to stray outside our wheelhouse very far. You call me, I will tell you what I can do very well. I'm not going to go out there and try to cook, like you said, chicken cordon bleu or something out of the
Not saying you couldn't do it, but
not
it
saying I
ain't.
couldn't do it, but it's not something that I'm comfortable doing. So I'm
Right.
going to give you what I do best. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to steer you into money saving areas.
Right.
Chances are you're not going to want these ribs because ribs aren't cost effective to feed a large number of people. You know, if you're looking to feed the masses, you want the pulled pork, you want the chicken, you want the brisket. You know, you're going to get some bang for your buck serving those types of meals. Uh, Chicken, I mean, ribs, not cost effective, man. You know, we all know they take up a lot of room on the grill, unless you're using racks, and then you're going to need a ton of racks.
Right.
But laying those ribs flat on the grill, they're going to take up a lot of room. And what are you going to get? 2 bones per person, 3 bones per person. You're going to need a lot of ribs to fill a group. So I do my best to try to steer any prospective clients, man, into the areas that I know we do well. So I mentioned the size of the menu earlier. We've got a fairly small menu, you know.
Keep
We
it
don't go
simple.
outside. Yeah, we don't go very far outside of sides, coleslaw, baked beans, potato salad, or we do a garden salad. You know, chicken, ribs, brisket, sausage. You know, some of the basics, but we don't go very far outside of that wheelhouse. I will tell you, we will do those extremely well. We've
See, and
never
that's
had a
the
complaint.
best. That's what we look at. Like when, and you know, CJ, I've been working with Andre, and we've had stuff like Andre's mac and cheese that is to die for. And when I get one, that's another the help. He lets me
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
I can do one, but it ain't gonna compare to what, you know what I mean. And I'm humble. I mean, I can say he
yeah, yeah.
blows it out of the water when it comes to that. And so I don't go, like you said, I don't really want to go too far out of that wheelhouse because, I mean, if you don't get it, we keep talking about the cordon bleu, but I mean, I heard Costco's got a great one,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's like, that's not me.
Yeah, yeah,
Right, right.
yeah,
I think the one thing you got to know is that, if it's something that sells and it's a hit, then don't change it.
yeah,
Just run with the same thing each time. And we already know here in Texas, brisket is king, especially if you're doing pop-ups. Brisket's going to sell over pork butt
oh yeah, oh yeah,
automatically.
oh yeah,
You know, catering events, just like you're mentioning, CJ, definitely you want to kind of, hey, if you can't do the brisket, let's go with the pork butt because the pork butt's going to be your next good
yeah,
option.
yeah,
It's a lot of meat, and you can serve these many people. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it's a good thing you're saying about that, CJ. So
yeah. All right. Folks in the chat, man, you gotta
what they got?
forgive
What
me.
questions they got?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
questions they
you
got?
know how I get when I have guests on.
Oh, we see
Mama,
Mama's
yeah,
asking.
Mama wants to know what type of insurance, and I'm sure we're talking liability insurance. You know,
Right.
maybe somebody gets food poisoning or something, so you got to have some sort of liability insurance. The pop up type things, the pop up tents. You're not going to have to worry about too much overhead as you would with a brick and mortar when it comes to insurance. So let's look at some of the things in the chat real quick, man, as we're going on this hour. You know, Daddy
And I will say
Dutch.
a lot of the catering events, especially around here, when you go to some of these venues, they call what they want a 1-2. So $1 million, 2 million. They want a 1-2, which
Okay.
I can tell you it is $50 a month, $60. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
it's cheap, but a lot of people won't go get it because that's another cost.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you remember CJ here, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, at the Freeman, not Freeman, but downtown when that caterer went in, I mean, he served them all chicken, and obviously he didn't take it off at the right temperature. I mean, everybody
Wow.
in the place got sick. It was a convention, served hundreds of people. And then they found out he didn't have the insurance to cover
Oh.
it, which I don't know how the convention center didn't ask for
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that's massive. Yeah,
I
that
mean,
is
and that
massive.
many people now they're coming.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah.
Had he
That
had
is
his
massive.
1 million, 2 million sitting there, he'd have been
Yeah.
covered.
Yeah. Big D
I mean, you
says,
still shouldn't. I mean, chicken's scary, but it's not scary if you know what you're doing. But
yeah. Oh no.
it's
Absolutely not.
always But to get that many people, I mean, I think there was 100 and, if I remember right, 150 to 175 that went to the hospital all sick.
Yeah.
So, and it could have been, but then like we look at catering, if I go into that, I learned a long time ago, a guy told me that's done it for years. When you go to the meat plants and you go get your boxes, they have that label on it that shows the plant it was made in. It's got all the information. And they said, you keep that for at least 30 days. Cut that off the box, keep it that way, because it may not be me. I cooked it to the temp. I cooked it, but before it got to me, was it frozen, sat out in the heat, went back frozen? So, you know what I mean? I can't control that, but I cooked it for all these people. So I've got it all on the information. They said, and that'll cover through your insurance as well.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, folks out there who may be interested in vending or catering more specifically, don't ever let a client say, I have got a hookup for the meats. I will go pick up the meats.
Nope. Look at us shaking our heads.
Say no, unless you're allowed to come to see how that meat was stored, how it's going to be stored during transport, and you're going to take possession of that meat directly from that proper storage. You don't want any lost visual of those meats in between, because you don't know what these people are going to do with that meat once they take possession. Is it going to be sitting out for a couple of hours?
Exactly.
And then you end up getting possession of some sick meat, turn around, cook it, serve it, and you look like the bad guy. So don't ever let anybody say, I will go pick up the meat, unless you're allowed to tag along. That's the only way I would do that.
No, but that's brilliant. That's smart, CJ. That's the way to.
That's the way to do it overall. And plus, if you're smoking a brisket, you're gonna pick the right brisket.
Yeah.
You're the professional, man. You know.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
They give you one that don't even fold. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. And that is why I rarely buy briskets online, because man, I'm such a stickler, for my my specs when it comes to briskets. So I just don't want anybody picking out my briskets. Right. I tell them, I said, hey, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to pick out the best possible meats for you. Let me do it.
Well, and some of them, they think, which again goes back to the money side. Some of them think, well, if I get it, you're not going to overcharge me because you're doing
exactly.
that. Yeah. And I'm like, but you're buying it at the same place I could buy it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pick it because you've seen it. I made the mistake early on and let people some. They're like, oh, well, I already have all the meat. Yeah, okay, great. No. Well, at the beginning. Well, then they bring it to me and they're like, well, you told me you needed this many pounds for this many people. And I'm like, yeah, well, then they brought me, a 15-pound brisket with 13 pounds of fat. I got 2 pounds of meat left on it. And it's like, and those kind of thing. And people, I guess if they haven't done it, because I can tell you the first ever brisket I cooked, I burnt the shit out of it. It was horrible. I thought, man, I got this. It's easy. You just throw it on. That's it. But as you go through, these people aren't, and I say some people, not everyone, but that's why we explained with the catering. We're charging you because the hours that we put into a barbecue pit. And some are like, well, I don't know why you're charging so much. Well, that brisket took 13 hours or 15 hours or, you know what I mean? And then I still have to get up in the morning and slice it on. Then I still got to do all your sides. And some, like they said, I'm not a brick and mortar. I don't have, like some of them have the overhead of the building. So I can be a little bit cheaper, but it's
the
hardest ones for me are the
selling. Yeah, if
The
you
hardest
can't
ones for
afford
me
what
are
I'm
the
selling,
small ones.
I will
The
direct you to
smaller
somebody
the
else.
catering, the worst for me.
Yeah, I
Because
will
I can't
direct
buy
you
in
to somebody
bulk. I
else.
can't. Yeah.
All right, Big D says in Delaware you have to have a commissary kitchen. Yeah, I've seen that online where
Yeah.
people rent kitchen space for all
Right.
their cooking and prep work. And like I said, different localities have different requirements, man. Buzz, Buzz, if you're interested in that, man, you and the missus, I would absolutely do it, man. It's exciting. You get to meet a lot of people, get to interact with a lot of great people. It's a lot of fun. The closest we've come to vending is when Mom and I do those Traeger demos, and we really, really enjoy those demos, man. All right.
I would say
Trumpet.
if someone's going to get a food truck, though, and I've seen people start it, it's consistency. That's what, like some of these, if you're there Monday, Wednesday,
Oh
Friday,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and,
Yeah.
and some will come up and they'll just throw it out. Hey, I'm going to be here on Saturday or I'm going to be here on Sunday. If you're established, that works to me because
Yeah.
everybody knows you and they're going to come. They're like, oh, they're finally open again. But when you're starting out and they don't know you've got to be consistent until people are talking about you on social media and
Oh yeah.
online.
And what is great about about vending and catering is if you've already established somewhat of a brand,
Right.
and fortunately for a lot of us, man, we've been in the competition world for a little bit. Uh, I've just had thousands of people. Do you have a spot? Do you have a spot? Do you have a spot? And I'm like, man, if we ever pull that trigger on a food truck or something along those lines, without a little bit of social media access, I said I think we would do pretty well if we ever decided to do that.
So you're going to
Uh,
hire me
yeah,
because I'm only
yeah,
like 5 minutes
absolutely,
from you. All right. All right.
absolutely. Burnt End says he thinks barbecue has become a special event catering, and it's still hitting people, and people are willing to pay for it. And I'm totally in agreement, man.
Yeah.
We have quoted individuals some staggering sums, and they've said yes. Others have said no, but again, we do not shortchange ourselves.
Right.
So give them the quote that you think you're worth, and if they happen to go elsewhere, nothing lost. While we definitely don't depend on catering to pay the bills. Anything that Mom and I can bring in from catering is to add to
Some
the
new
yeah
shoes.
yeah to add to the 2 billion we already have in the bank.
Oh,
So yeah.
oh, there we go.
Okay, CJ.
Yeah.
Hey, can I borrow
Man,
a million?
Yeah.
I'm fixing to
So
start a podcast
yeah.
if you got
So
that
now,
much in the bank.
yeah. So now it's 2,500,000,000.
There you go.
Hey, Reuben, how much you getting
Uh,
paid for this tonight?
Oh man, I don't know, man. This is a consultation today.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's see. My man Juke is in the house.
Hey, the
Sleeper, what's
pitmaster,
that?
man.
Yeah, what's
Hey,
happening?
hey, let me
Sleeper.
tell you. Let me tell you something about Juke, man. So I'm gonna give him a big shout out because Juke was one of the guys that really inspired me with the platters in catering events.
Yeah, yeah,
If you
yeah.
ever seen his platters, I'm like, I needed to try that out. One time he came to, the virtual bar here at Big Rome's house, and
Virtual
I
bar.
was inspired. Yeah, hey, the virtual bar was started through COVID, man. We had to go
All right,
live.
all
We
right.
couldn't see each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so the one thing I'll tell you, man, Juke inspired me with all those platters, and because of that, I started doing catering because I wanted to do a platter too, and I wanted to do it my way. So, man, big shout out to Juke Moreno, man. I call
Ah,
him the pitmaster. The
yes,
pitmaster.
sir. Yes, sir. He says you're a barbecue beast, man.
Oh no,
Yeah.
man! I gotta catch up to you, bro. What are you talking
Yeah, I
about,
don't know about all that. Hey, Uncle Steve Brown says you're
my
a good
brother?
dancer. Yeah. I don't
Oh
know where
yeah.
you two hooked up on the dance floor, but he enjoyed the dance.
Hey man, hey Uncle Steve, man. Hey, let me tell y'all, if it wasn't for Uncle Steve's products too, I use it in my catering events, so
Yeah.
they love it.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know if
I
at a
don't have
catering
that
event
much
I've
of
ever danced before, but I'm
Yeah.
just figuring.
hey, I gotta entertain my clients, man. You gotta
There you go.
entertain,
There
man.
you go.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
SJ
man.
Cooks, my man Mario. Man, I've been neglecting my guys and gals in the chat, man. Great to see all you guys. We missed last week. You know, we got caught up in something else. Big D says he talks them into pulled chicken, and he sells 95% pulled chicken now on catering events.
That's smart.
Mate, we've done pulled chicken once in our lives, and it was at the World Food Championship, and it brought us in with Andy Lugo. It brought us in a fifth place in the World Food Championship. But other than that, I don't think I've ever done pulled chicken. I've seen a lot of caterers do it, a lot of vendors do it, pulled chicken sandwiches, and I guess it's something I'll have to try, man.
So where's he from, CJ?
Who's that?
Big D.
Probably Delaware.
Yeah, because I mean,
right there where it says
that's
Big D's
great.
Delaware barbecue.
I've never been asked for pulled chicken ever.
Yeah, and again, that is something. If it's in your wheelhouse, you can bring it up to your clients.
Oh yeah,
you know?
no, I'm not saying it's bad. I've just never been asked for it.
Yeah, and something that I'm not a fan of turkey legs. I'm not a fan. Trumpet says now I understand that a lot of events, man, where you're vending, turkey legs are a huge seller.
Oh yeah.
Rome, have you ever done turkey legs vending?
So I've never done turkey leg vending, but I'll tell you my biggest seller on all my pop-ups that I've had is my Empire Bombers, where they're jalapeno poppers and sausage on a stick. It's a grab and go.
Yeah,
you can add it to your side on the big meat sandwich, and that's my big seller. And I don't change my menu on that. I always got that on my menu.
Dude, at outdoor events, you can put anything on a stick, and I think it's gonna fly. It's gonna fly.
You're right. You're right.
You can put anything on a stick, man.
Hey, I wanted to put when I was doing the pork ribs, I wanted to put it on a stick too, bro. I don't know why. I'm like a lollipop, you know.
Hey, I saw it at the rodeo. They had the fried ribs on a stick.
Wow.
At the rodeo, and they were killing it. Of course, the rodeo's expensive, but they were killing it. I mean, and you're right, CJ. Anything you see it on a stick, they're like, "Oh, we can hand it to the kid." And
because you get to walk around and
grab and go,
eat, man. Yeah, grab and go, like you said. Yeah, absolutely, man. Oh, burnt ends, sliced chicken breast cut into cutlets and cooked on site. Man,
okay.
That's a tough one, burnt ends. I think you've got to cook that right before serving, man. You can't wait too long past cooking to serve, because I can easily see that tightening up on you and not going to be the best chew for those guests. So that's got to be a quick cook and a serve. Let's see, Chris. Sorry I missed you, Chris, man, but we will see you next week. We will see you next week. Let's see. Double D says big meats feed the masses. Starving Pig, Darnell is in the house. Big Salinas Barbecue, man. Great to have you. Salt and Pepper, John. Man, I missed all my guys tonight, man. But like I said, whenever I have guests on, especially a quality guest, man, and all my guests have been quality guests, I get so caught up in the conversation that I honestly don't pay a whole lot of time to the chat. So
he just called us. Did you hear that? He just called us quality.
Oh,
man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like a prime brisket right now.
Yeah. Hey,
man.
Hey, this is my second time on, so I'm famous now.
Yeah,
you are, man. You are.
Hey, this guy right here, Darnell, I see his menu probably weekly. And I hate that he's so far away. He's in Maryland, but he does a lot of pulled chicken. And he says pulled chicken quarters have the best margins. He's got a pretty extensive menu. When I compare it to ours, and Darnell, I don't know what kind of help you've got out there. I do not know what kind of help, but it sounds like what you're doing, man, requires a lot of help.
That kind of sounds. I mean, if you think about the margins, I mean, that sounds right. I mean, because everybody always wants the leg quarters, and then when you're pulling it, and whatever you're doing, I don't know what he's doing, if it's sandwiches or whatever, but yeah, that sounds.
You think about it. Once you pull that chicken, man, the sky is the limit to what you can do with it. You know,
Right.
Yes.
Flautas.
There you go, baby. Help me out, man. Yeah,
hey,
the sky is the limit. Yeah, you can do just about anything with it, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Pork chops on a stick, they said.
Oh, there it is, man.
Pork chop on a stick. How thick is that chop and how thin is that stick?
Yeah.
I would cut them like country style and then put the stick, right? You know.
All right.
Well, I've seen them where they fried them and put it all the way through like a boneless pork chop.
And folks, if you're not brining your chops, man, you're really missing out on that additional moisture. Brine those chops. Yeah.
Thanks, Burnt Ends.
All right, Burnt End, man. It was good seeing you, Burnt Ends. Good seeing you. All right.
Appreciate
I know
you
I'm
watching.
way behind. Yeah, I know I'm way behind. Trumpet says you can make a killing on some corn dogs.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right, let's see. My man Everett, Joe Everett is in the house. Drunken Chef. Oh man.
Man, I appreciate everybody watching, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, man, folks, you know I'm usually right around that hour mark, man. We're at hour 12. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, we're gonna get back to business as usual, man, talking in the chat. But every once in a while, I'm gonna sneak some quality guests in here and try to get you some quality information. And yes, I do neglect chat because I want to pay attention to my guests. I want to thank Rome, man, and Ernest for hanging out with Mama and Papa Joe's today. I am going to go and
Big Earn.
Tell me the score because I'm getting ready to go start watching game number 6 of this. Hey, Rome, I'm gonna have to get some of that too, man. Yeah, I
got you, brother.
Yeah,
send me your address.
Get some of that. I never got to try that hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, here we go, man. God dang. I thought I was famous.
Yeah, hook, line.
That's it.
Hook, line, and sinker flows.
No, you've been talking to Andre. I'm done with all this.
Hook, line, and barbecue. Are you
there it is. Yes, no. I am. Yours.
All right.
Yeah, the other part went back.
Okay.
So.
All right, folks. Man, I want to thank you guys and gals once again for hanging out with Mama Papa Joe. I want to thank Ernest and Big Rome for hanging out with us. I hope you found this worthwhile. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Be on the lookout for a video dropping tomorrow. I really love this video. I really love it, man. Be on the lookout for that tomorrow. And we'll see you right back here next week at 8 p.m. Central. I want you guys to take care of yourselves, love each other, and we'll see you when we see you.
Big Rome, I'll contact you this week, brother.
Hey, sounds good. Smoking with passion, baby.
Yes, sir. Thanks, CJ.
Hang around, fellas.